Was out with a friend today for lunch, and I got thinking after I finished lunch with my friend. Um, so many of us at this age, I'm 54, my kids are still living at home. I'm not an empty nester just yet, but I'm kind of on my way out, basically. My kids are grown, they're 18 and 21. They don't need me as much, they do their own thing. It's almost like I have to schedule time with them when I want to know that they're going to be set here and do something with us as a family. I mean, we do have our evening dinners whenever everyone's home. We make sure that people are here for dinner. But in having the conversation with my friend today, I'm realizing, and this is a pattern that I'm seeing with a lot of my friends, is that we're all trying to figure out who we are now that our kids don't need us as much. There's this big transition where we don't really have a lot of purpose. And we spent all those years, right, taking care of the kids, running around, doing everything. And then now that they don't need us, it is a huge adjustment. And I noticed this last week too when my daughter was away. She was out of town in Ottawa for a week. And she's a flyer. Like she comes and goes. She likes to be on the go, likes to go and do things. And she did live away from home for 2 years when she was in university. So I'm used to her kind of coming and going. But when she was gone last week, I had this really lonely feeling and feeling like I know that my time is coming to an end eventually. And this is what my friend and I were chatting about. And this is a pattern I'm seeing with all of the ladies my age. And most of the people that I know, actually, their kids are still living at home. None of them have kids that have left the nest just yet. So we're all kind of in the same boat. And another thing we talked about was how we do way too much for our kids, which we both acknowledged. And, as far as chores, her kids don't have a lot of chores, mine don't either. How we're always doing things for them, tidying up their room. And people will come here and say, okay, you're not doing them any favors. They need to learn responsibilities. And I think, my husband and I, we've done a good job with our kids in the sense that they are very responsible. They're very respectful, very humble, I guess we'll say too. Um, but my friend and I, when we were chatting, it was just realizing that yes, we do a lot, and this is probably why we are so overwhelmed all of the time because we're taking on all of our family responsibilities at home with taking care of the house, making dinner, doing laundry, and then also doing things that maybe the kids could be helping out to do. But we decided between the two of us that, our kids are only with us for so long. They're only kids for so long. So if we can do whatever we can to help them, why wouldn't we? And as far as the chores, it's not that our kids are not going to know how to do things. Not going to wake up one day and be thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do anything. I think we've done a good enough job with them that, well, not a good enough job. We've done a good job with them that when they are ready to leave the nest, they're going to know how to take care of themselves. They're going to figure things out. So that's kind of the common theme that I've seen with a lot of my friends my age is that we're doing way too much for our kids and we're okay with that. And we're also trying to figure out what our purpose is. And that's why it's important to, have a lot of other activities in your life other than your kids. And as far as this channel, this is what I'm struggling with as well. I'm kind of in between. I'm not retired. I'm not planning to retire. I'm 54. I could retire when I'm 58, but I won't. I need to, put my kids through school still. I can see some people are here, and I can see there are some comments. And if you're leaving inappropriate comments, just know that I will block you and I will remove your comments. Um, so, anyways, someone is saying that they have 3 daughters. Any advice? Well, I have a daughter and a son. They're both very different. But what I'm finding and what spawned this live was the lunch that I had with my friend, and we were talking about how our kids are still at home. We're not quite empty nesters, and we were taking on a lot of the work that maybe they could be doing, but also we don't mind because it's nice for us to do things for our kids. And also just me struggling with this channel because, as I said, I'm not retired. I'm not planning to retire. So a lot of the channels out there for people my age are people that are starting over again. They're either newly divorced, newly separated, they've just retired, they've quit, whatever the case is. So I'm trying to figure out where I am positioned in all of that, and trying to find the women out there that are still working, they still have kids at home, and they're not retired, and how people are juggling everything, family, job, all of that. In addition to me working, I've worked in public service for 26 years. I also run a small business, so I'm very busy. And then on top of that, I'm doing stuff at the house here that my kids could probably be doing, but I like to help them to ease their load because they're both going to university, they're both working. So we tend to make excuses for why we do so much with our kids or for our kids. But so that's where I am. I'm just looking at the comments here. People are coming in saying hi, hello to people. No, I'm not approving any users. And also a reminder that I will remove your inappropriate comments. But what job do I have? I work in public service and I plan events for our local city. So I've been there for 26 years. And I'm not going to share too much about my personal life because I don't think it's necessary. But I came here to talk about, you know, at this age of life, trying to figure out what our new purpose is, and even for fathers, really. I have a son and daughter. My husband's in the same boat. It's trying to find time where we just schedule time with them. Everyone puts their schedule on the calendar, and whoever's available, we write in something on the calendar if we want to spend time with the kids, if they're not going to be here for family dinner. So that's why I'm here today, was talking about that, because all of the friends that I've been meeting up with that are my age, we have the same conversations, and also just feeling that we don't have a purpose anymore, feeling that obviously we need to work on our marriages because we've been busy taking care of the kids for so long. And also that there's this bit of loneliness that happens when your kids are grown up and they don't need you anymore, or don't need you as much. So this is the transition that many of us are in. And it is a difficult time to transition, into a life without your kids and having all those responsibilities, but also just trying to find a purpose. And what do we do with ourselves if we don't need to be driving our kids to soccer and piano and everywhere else? Someone is saying, introduce myself. I am Lori and I'm in Canada. I'm 54, married with 2 kids. My kids are 18 and 21, and they both still live at home. I work full time and I also run a small business. So I'm not one of those channels where I'm retired and starting over. I'm just here to share all of my adventures that I've had in midlife. There's been a lot. And actually, I started this channel last September, and holy cougar, okay, well, I don't think I'm a cougar, I'm 54. So I started this channel last September, and I actually was monetized in December by some luck of God. But that's kind of a bit of a curse and a blessing when you go viral, because that does change the dynamics of your channel, and trying to figure out what direction you want to go with your channel, and then trying to maintain viewers. So that's been a bit of a challenge. And then, as I said, this is where I am now, trying to figure out what direction to go with this channel, because I'm sort of in the middle of, yes, I'm a Gen Xer, midlifer, but I'm also not retired. So, so moving forward, I do pop in once in a while to do a live, and I'm checking my time here. And I'll share whatever I can of, whatever has happened during the week and what I'm up to. But that's really all. I just wanted to pop in, say hi to everyone that did join. I will save this video if you wanted to watch it at a later time and add a comment later. But anyways, that's really all I wanted to share tonight. Thank you to anyone that did pop in, say hello. I appreciate that you stopped in. So until next time, bye for now.